Many times in her life, Sally Field found herself staring at letters she had kept from her father, letters written decades ago, untouched and folded carefully in a box. Some were 35 years old, some 40, and yet she had never gathered the courage to open them fully. At 78, as she held them again, there was a swirl of emotions: love, longing, and the quiet ache of missed connection. These letters were fragments of a life that had begun in complexity, a life where joy and sorrow were closely intertwined. Behind the applause, the red carpets, and the public image of fame, Sally's journey had been defined by challenges that shaped her in profound ways. Her story is one of resilience, courage, and the ability to find light even in the darkest corners. A childhood of fragile foundations. Sally Field's story did not start under the bright lights of Hollywood, but in the quiet rooms of her childhood home in Pasadena, California. Born on November 6, 1946, she entered a world already marked by change and uncertainty. By the time she was 4, her parents had divorced, a separation that in the 1950s carried a weight of social stigma and personal disruption. Divorce for a child meant more than 2 people no longer living together. It meant the loss of stability, predictability, and a secure sense of belonging. Her mother, Margaret Field, was a working actress with Paramount Pictures. Admired and glamorous, yet often emotionally distant, consumed by the demands of her career. Her father, Richard Dryden Field, was a disciplined World War II veteran, offering structure but not warmth. For young Sally, these early experiences created a world split between the glamour and distance of her mother's life, and the order but emotional restraint of her father. Love felt conditional, fleeting, and fragile, leaving her to navigate a childhood that was as beautiful as it was uncertain. Discovering sanctuary in performance. Even amid the challenges of her early years, Sally found a refuge: acting. In classrooms, on sets, and through drama classes, she discovered the ability to step into other lives and feel emotions beyond her own immediate world. Acting became more than a career possibility. It became a form of survival. It was a space where she could breathe, where her inner life could be expressed safely, and where her experiences could be transformed into something tangible. Through performance, she found a language for feelings she could not articulate, a way to give voice to the silent parts of herself. This early connection to acting would guide her throughout her life, providing both an outlet and a foundation for the artistry she would later be celebrated for. Early career beginnings. Sally's first steps into the public eye brought both recognition and constraint. Her breakout role in 1965 came with the sitcom Gidget, where she portrayed a bright, charming, and approachable character. The show offered her visibility and praise, but also the beginnings of being pigeonholed in Hollywood as the wholesome girl next door. In 1967, The Flying Nun further solidified her television presence, transforming her into a recognizable figure across the country. For the audience, the characters were playful and lighthearted. For Sally, they were a mask she was asked to wear, a persona that did not capture the depth of her inner world. At 19, the tension between public expectation and personal reality became heavy, leaving her to wrestle with identity and purpose while navigating the demands of a career that required her to fit into predetermined molds. Walking away to grow. At the height of her early television fame, Sally made a bold decision that surprised many. She stepped away from the roles that brought her recognition. For nearly 3 years, and she declined offers for light-hearted parts, despite the risk of fading from public view. Many assumed she would be forgotten, dismissed as just another young actress with little dramatic range. Yet Sally's choice was not born of rebellion alone. It was intentional. She sought to reclaim her voice, explore her craft, and grow into an actress capable of conveying genuine emotional depth. This period of pause was critical. marking a turning point where she began to prioritize artistic authenticity over industry expectations or public adoration. Transformation through method acting. In the early 1970s, Sally immersed herself in the discipline of method acting at the Lee Strasberg Actors Studio. The work was rigorous and demanding, requiring her to draw from her own experiences, confront her vulnerabilities, and transform them into performances that were emotionally truthful. Each role became a mirror reflecting aspects of herself she had long buried, allowing her to confront pain, joy, and complexity in a way that was both cathartic and illuminating. Method acting gave her the tools to move beyond typecasting and allowed her to create work that resonated deeply with audiences. It was a period of growth that demanded courage and persistence, shaping not only her skills, but also her understanding of the transformative power of art. Breakthrough with Sybil. The public first fully recognized Sally's dramatic talent in 1976 with the television movie Sybil, where she portrayed a woman living with dissociative identity disorder. Each of the characters' multiple identities reflected fragments of a person grappling with past trauma. For Sally, the role required an extraordinary level of emotional depth, forcing her to confront and translate into performance the quiet struggles and pain of her own life experiences. Critics celebrated her performance, and audiences were captivated. The Emmy she received was more than an award. It was validation of her ability to channel personal history into art that spoke to universal human experience. Norma Ray and the Power of Choice. Just a few years later, Sally took on the role that would define her career. Norma Ray, a story of a woman fighting for justice in a Southern textile union. This character embodied resilience, courage, and moral conviction, themes that resonated deeply with Sally's own journey. Her performance was both intensely personal and profoundly compelling, earning her an Academy Award for Best Actress in 1980. That moment on the stage was more than a professional milestone. It was a testament to her perseverance, an acknowledgement of the depth and authenticity she brought to her craft. It was a recognition that the challenges she had faced, the growth she had cultivated, and the truths she had learned could be transformed into art that inspired millions. Love, family, and heartbreak. While her career reached new heights, Sally's personal life carried its own joys and sorrows. Her first marriage to high school sweetheart Stephen Craig brought the birth of two sons, Peter and Eli, along with the lessons of partnership, compromise, and love. The marriage eventually ended, underscoring that love alone cannot always sustain a relationship, no matter how deep the bond. Later, a passionate connection with Burt Reynolds offered intensity and companionship, but also highlighted the complexities of relationships, including the need for mutual respect and support. These experiences, marked by both joy and challenge, enriched Sally's understanding of love, family, and the delicate balance between personal fulfillment and emotional connection. Parenthood and stability. Sally's marriage to producer Alan Greeman in 1984 brought the birth of her youngest son, Sam, and a period of relative stability. Motherhood remained a central and grounding force in her life, providing continuity, purpose, and joy amid the fluctuations of career and public life. Even as her marriage gradually ended in the mid-1990s, her commitment to her children endured. Raising her sons became a defining source of fulfillment, teaching her about unconditional love, patience, and the ways in which nurturing others can become a source of strength. Later, as a grandmother, Sally embraced a renewed sense of purpose and contentment, finding joy in family life and everyday moments rather than in public acclaim. Near death and the fragility of life. Sally's life included moments that tested her sense of mortality. In October 1988, while traveling with her husband, Alan, and infant son, Sam, a private plane crash brought sudden and profound danger. Despite the fear and chaos, Sally's focus was unwavering on her child's safety. The family survived with only minor injuries, but the experience became a reminder of life's fragility and the importance of prioritizing love, connection, and safety over career or public perception. This moment deepened her appreciation for family and the quiet, often overlooked treasures of everyday life. Advocacy and health awareness. In later years, Sally faced new challenges with grace and determination. A diagnosis of osteoporosis became an opportunity to advocate for women's health, promoting awareness and encouraging proactive care. She adopted a plant-based diet, embraced mindful movement and yoga, and demonstrated that resilience is both physical and mental. Beyond her own health, Sally extended her voice to causes she believed in, including women's reproductive rights, LGBTQ+ equality, and climate action. Her advocacy reflects a life committed to using experience and insight to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. Reclaiming peace and purpose. At 78, Sally has built a life marked by serenity, family, and purpose. Living in Pacific Palisades, she values quiet moments, meaningful connections, and the simple joys of daily life. Her legacy is not defined solely by awards or public recognition, but by her capacity for resilience, her authenticity, and her devotion to those she loves. The art she created, the lives she nurtured, and the advocacy she champions all speak to a life lived fully and intentionally. A life of resilience, Sally Field's story is ultimately one of enduring human strength. From a childhood of uncertainty to a career of extraordinary accomplishment, from personal heartbreak to advocacy and fulfillment, her journey exemplifies the capacity to overcome, to grow, and to thrive. Her experiences offer lessons in courage, compassion, and the power of authenticity. She reminds us that even in the face of challenge, life can be beautiful, meaningful, and rich with connection. Through her art, her family, and her voice, Sally Field demonstrates that resilience is not only about survival, it is about creating a life of impact, love, and purpose.